CPR saved my life. I've teamed up with the American Heart Association as a national ambassador to help create a nation of lifesavers, turning bystanders into lifesavers through CPR education and access to AEDs. Join me to ensure everyone has the chance to live longer, healthier lives. Visit heart.org/nation.
That is Damar Hamlin, the Buffalo Bills safety whose story went viral when he suffered cardiac arrest on the field. And although he says CPR saved his life, some Chicago doctors are speaking out about recent reports regarding the safety of this procedure. Casey Cronus has more in this morning's special report.
It was January 2nd when football fans held their collective breath as Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin dropped to the ground following a blow to his chest during a game.
The entire Bills team is praying.
6 months later, college basketball fans were in shock as Bronny James suddenly collapsed during practice. Doctors say both received CPR as part of the medical treatment immediately administered to them. Did this procedure help or hurt them? Recent online reports say CPR can do more harm than good.
To share his appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, Buffalo Bills safety, Damar Hamlin.
Just 6 weeks after that heart-stopping moment, Damar was back on the field, thanking his fans and the first responders who treated him. His doctors have now cleared him to play football this season. As for Bronny James, he is out of the hospital. A family spokesman says he is on track to make a full recovery, as well as return to the court.
The wild moment is every day, just being able to wake up and just take deep breaths and live a peaceful life.
We're arguing that these articles that were written, which are, have a good point, are in very specific circumstances, not for the Damar Hamlins or the Bronny James.
Dr. Stuart Berger is the executive director of Lurie Children's Heart Center.
I think the main thing to bring out is that there are certain circumstances where CPR might not be done. CPR can certainly have effects that may not be the effects that you expect, but in a situation of sudden cardiac arrest where you want to get survival, the only way to get survival is with CPR and an AED.
Berger says it's important for critically ill patients of all ages to talk with their doctors about whether or not they want to have CPR or other life-saving measures included in their care. Those are the cases where potentially harmful consequences from CPR could happen, like broken bones.
But for the rest of us, for the person walking down Chicago Avenue where there may be a sudden cardiac arrest, for the most part, intervening is going to be the only way to get survival.
Berger knows bones can also break when doing CPR on the average person, and that's one reason why many of us are afraid to do it.
And I would tell you, broken ribs and a fractured sternum are uncommon, not unheard of, but the alternative of death is certainly what you would have.
Which is why he's concerned about recent online stories regarding how safe CPR is.
I think my concern is that there will be lives that are lost because people will be afraid to intervene.
Dr. Brian Smith has the same concerns about those recent articles. He's a cardiologist at UChicago Medicine and a board member for the American Heart Association.
So in this country, there are 350,000 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests that happen every year. And the issue is only 10% of those are successfully resuscitated.
Smith adds 70% of those cases happen at home, and 60% of the time, those who see it do nothing.
No one does CPR, or they do CPR ineffectively, or they don't call for help in time. So really the problem is that we need to make sure people understand what CPR is, understand when to use it, because by doing CPR in those cases, we can double or triple the chance of survival.
In the last few years, Smith says more of us have shown an interest in learning CPR, and it continues to grow after we watched what happened to Damar Hamlin and Bronny James.
Now that it's much simpler, I think people should feel much more comfortable in performing CPR when it's necessary.
Smith says mouth-to-mouth resuscitation was dropped from CPR about 5 years ago, and the main components now are using an AED and hands-only chest compressions. We saw a step-by-step demo at Lurie's.
Good compressions will make sure that the outcomes are the way that we would hope that they are, and help prevent injuries.
Since Damar's cardiac arrest 8 months ago, the Smart Heart Sports Coalition was formed. It's a joint partnership between several major sports leagues, including the NFL, the American Heart Association, and the American Red Cross. It's working to see all 50 states follow evidence-based policies that will prevent fatal outcomes from sudden cardiac arrest among high school students, which includes CPR, something Dr. Smith says helped save Damar.
It absolutely saved his life.
The Smart Heart Sports Coalition is also pushing for high school coaches to know how to do CPR and use an AED. In June, the IHSA made it a requirement for coaches here to undergo this training on a regular basis. Casey Cronis, Fox 32, Chicago.
Thanks for that, Casey. And joining us now with more on the importance of CPR is Dr. Candice Manarino. She is attending physician of pediatric cardiology and critical care medicine at Lurie Children's Hospital.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate what you do.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to demonstrate hands-only CPR and AED use.
You're going to show us the proper way to administer CPR. And as it said in the story there, it's changed so much over just the last few years.
Absolutely. Hands-only CPR is still a safe and effective way for saving lives. And it's shown to be improving benefit for survival in the first few minutes after a cardiac arrest.
Okay,
show us what we need to do. Yes,
absolutely. So just to say this out loud, it's pushing 2 steps, calling for emergency services, making sure to call 911, and pushing hard and fast at the center of the chest at 100 to 120 beats per minute. And great songs to help us. For reference for CPR include Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, Crazy in Love by Beyonce, that's my personal favorite. Another one, Bites the Dust by Queen, so Baby Shark too.
Okay, and that helps. That helps. So where do we start?
Yeah, so start in the center of the chest.
The center of the chest. You've got your palm there, right?
One hand over the other, so palm over the other. And then I am going to push hard and push fast. Like this.
Okay, as you're doing that, you say you're going to push hard and push fast. That is the concern about how do you know how hard to push with that whole concern of injuring the person.
Absolutely. The benefits of CPR really outweigh the risk of any injury or any broken ribs to the patients.
Yeah, absolutely. And so is hands-only CPR recommended for people of all ages? I remember when I was working to get my CPT, and you were thinking like, well, what if you have a child versus an adult?
Absolutely. Hands-only CPR are recommended for all ages. There may be instances or medical emergencies that, especially for infants and children up to the age of puberty, that they may require conventional breaths, but still hands-only CPR, first few minutes of cardiac arrest are still what we would improve survival instead of no CPR at all.
I want to get this last thing because we're about to run out of time. You've got this AED machine, which is another big contributor now to how to help people out. Real quick, show us how this works and how it can help.
Absolutely. So AEDs they're great and safe, effective ways for delivering any electricity that a patient might need after cardiac arrest. And it's really simple instructions. Once the AED is found, it goes through exactly what the steps are to complete. So it gives you right here one, let's turn it on. And this is a training one, so no worries, no shocks delivered here. Don't worry. There is also...
and it's talking you through it.
It's absolutely talking, yes.
Okay, don't touch the patient, it says. And training, go for it.
And then also the pads right here tell you exactly... exactly where to put the pads on the chest.
Dr. Manarino, thank you so much for coming in and educating us, and of course helping us to, we don't ever want to have to use it, but be ready if we need it.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Good thing for all of us to know. We do appreciate it. Okay, we're going to take a